The U.S. government started processing tax returns mid-February. About 73% of Americans will receive a tax return, and it will be your average around $2,000 to $3,000, depending on how much you actually paid them throughout the year. That's right, you have an interest-free loan. I'm not fortunate enough to be one of those people. 96 million people who will receive tax returns. I'm not one, apparently. Why doesn't the government want me to be great? Good day, everyone. Here's the life. If you are a first-time viewer, welcome. You see, I have open arms. You are welcome to this place. My name is Rod. I am a healthcare provider and a content creator. Look at this. I am also a finance enthusiast. I am a big proponent in work-life balance. So that's what this channel is all about. We're big into finance, we're big into healthcare, and we're also big into making sure that you have a great work-life balance. So if that's things that you like, feel free to like this video. Feel free to subscribe to my channel. If you watched more than 2 of my channels, you should have been subscribing already. I don't see why not. If you had a channel and I watched 2 of your videos, I would be subscribing. Return the favor. That's all I ask. But that's neither here nor there. In this video, I want to talk about if you're receiving a tax return, this concerns you because it's a lot of scammers out there. People want your money. They want it now, like the commercial says. You need to be able to identify scams and protect your money when you get your tax return, because there are hundreds of different variations of scams. I'm going to touch on my top 5 now, and it might be another top 5 later. But for now, we're going to do the top 5, the biggest that generate the most money. I guess you can say that have the most success. So definitely watch to the end. You don't want to miss anything. If you have any questions, feel free to like, feel free to comment. Feel free to give me a thumbs up if you feel what I'm making is decent. Without further ado, let's get right into it. And as a little bit of a caveat, I want to give you this piece of information. Even if you don't watch this video to the end, the IRS will rarely, probably never contact you unless you owe them millions of dollars. Unless you're like one of the big fish that generate a lot of income, they're not going to contact you for your little $2,000 to $3,000 that you might owe them. Even if it's $50,000, they're not going to contact you. So if anyone contacts you, first of all, saying they're from the IRS, don't believe them. They tried to get me like that one time, and I stopped him before he started. He's guy called me. He's saying, "Oh, hello, this is from such and such. We're from the Internal Revenue Service." I said, "Oh, stop before you even get going, buddy. I had a tax bill before. I couldn't get IRS on the phone if I threatened to hurt somebody. If I threatened to hurt myself, could not get IRS on the phone. If someone contacts you from IRS for a couple $1,000s, something's fishy automatically be suspicious, because they will not contact you because you can't contact them. Number 5 is what we're going to start off. Number 5 is very, very delicate situation because it involves a very commonly used, it's not the most profitable, but it's commonly used tax fraud scheme. It's important because it kind of can involve you if you're not careful. And that's through what they call padding your tax return. It's common practice amongst janky tax preparation people. And if you don't make a mistake, if you put in the wrong charitable donations, you file false deductions, if you falsify your income to give yourself a lower tax bill or a higher tax return, it can be great initially, but eventually they will fish you out and they will ding you accordingly, and you will have to pay more. Even if you only falsified by a few $100s, they could give you penalties and all this and that and the third. So file as truthful a tax return as possible. Do not be fooled by these false prophets saying that they can give you a higher tax return when they cannot. They can give you what you've paid in. If you don't want to get back a higher tax return than you deserve, just owe money. Owe a few $100s at the end of the year. It's a loan anyway. You're giving the government if you get a tax return. So you just file a truthful tax return and get back what you deserve, and then go from there. And the number 4 biggest tax fraud is having a tax preparer file a false return for you. Believe it or not, this is common. About half of Americans has someone file their tax return documents for them. So that leaves a lot of room for error, and no matter what mistakes they make, you are responsible for. So the government's not going to say, oh, well, James, who's been doing my taxes for the last 5 years, made a mistake and put an extra 0 and blah, blah, blah. They look, Uncle Sam's not even going to look at you. They're not even going to look at you like, come on, dude. They're going to just send you that bill and say, okay, well, pay us this and we'll write everything. Not, you get penalized. We don't know James. James submitted under your name. James' name is on there one time saying that he prepared the document. If that, you're responsible for whoever files your tax return. Keep that in mind. Get someone with proper credentials, someone with a great track record. I'm not necessarily a person that goes by reviews on Yelp or Google reviews or whatever, because people can give way skewed reviews off of an experience more so than what someone does on the job. So they can not like the attitude of a person and give a bad review saying that they're not good at their job simply because they don't have great customer interaction. You need to do your own due diligence, follow up with a great tax preparer if you're a person who needs your taxes done for you. I'm going to put a link from my previous video, and on that link in that video, it's a bunch of resources for sites that have great tax preparation. You can do it yourself. If it's a simple tax, I highly suggest you doing your own taxes if they're simple. If you have a lot of investments, if you're a person who has inheritance, if you're a person that got gifts this year, let someone else do your taxes for you. They'll come out best. It might be $200-300, but that might be best. But also make sure they are properly credentialed. Let's move on to number 3, okay? Simple identity theft. Identity theft. That's the easiest thing I would say for someone else to do. You're not doing it to yourself unless you make a mistake and release your information. But it's super easy for someone else to do it to you. In order to file a false tax return in your name, all they need is either your social security number or your tax identification number. They don't need your address. They don't need your driver's license. They can falsify all that information to make the funds go where they need them. If they have your social security number, your tax ID number, they can file a false tax return in your name and get your refund, and you are responsible for sorting everything out, not them. I don't think many criminals are gonna turn themselves in and say, hey man, I'll help you sort out your taxes that I messed up 2 years ago. They're not gonna do that. You have to do it on your own. Tax identity theft is way down from the past years because everything's now electronic. So they've streamlined everything. Everything happens super quick. The second you file, you can do electronic filing, which most people, if you're not doing it, you're doing something wrong automatically. But that cuts down tremendously on people who can fraudulently submit tax returns. I know a lot about that. My brother's baby mama always gets in trouble for it because she lets other people file her kids. She has a lot of kids, so she'll let 1 or 2 people claim her kids and think it's all good. No, that's fraud. Like, just because you get an extra $1,000 for letting somebody else claim your kids, they don't want you to do that. So stop. The good thing about identity theft is the fact that it is easy to avoid. You can buy encryption software. You can keep all of your personal information in secure. They have secure drives, electronic drives. So if you want to keep your files electronically, they have secure drives that are encrypted with your own personalized number that anonymized ways to get in. So I highly suggest, in order to avoid problems in the future, investing in some of these programs. I'll try and put a link to those resources in the description below. That way I can try to help you guys out as much as possible. If you have any questions, like I said, always feel free to comment below. I'll get back to everyone. Now let's move on to number 2. Number 2 is one that I kind of explained earlier. It's what's called vishing with a V, an Earth V. Vishing is basically when someone calls your phone, like ring ring. Hello sir, this is Jared from the Internal Revenue Service. I was wondering if we can bother you for a moment of your time because we were calling regarding delinquent payments on your tax bill. And honestly, I'm not going to say it's one that happens to the elderly, because a lot of people who are ignorant to dealing with the IRS, some people never deal with the IRS. Some people never have a tax bill because they never really have vast, diversified portfolios. They never have a lot going on financially outside of earned income. So you never have to deal with the IRS. I was different. So I had to deal with them before. I had to pay a tax bill, so I'm aware of how to handle it. If you're a person who's never had to deal with it, then just know, as I previously stated, they won't call you. If someone calls you from the IRS, don't believe them, because the IRS is not interested in dialing your 7 digits, getting their money. They will send you one letter maybe, and then the next letter is saying that they tacking on those penalties. So if you have a bill to pay, contact them or set up a payment plan through a third party. They have a bunch of third parties, a bunch of ways that you can repay your IRS tax bill. Don't suspect that they will call you. They won't. If someone does call you, don't believe them. Okay? They're not true. They are not for you. They're against you. They don't want you to be great. And the number 1, we made it to number 1 already, even though I'm going to list another video of 5 more. But this is number 1 in this video. The number 1 tax return scam is phishing, right? We're phishing. But we know that by this time in this day and age with computers, that's not what I mean. No one goes outside to fish anymore. What the heck is that? Phishing for us now means that someone just randomly reaches out to you. It doesn't matter if it's via internet, via email, text message, anything other than phone call, because phone calls have their own name. But phishing, if you remember recently in the news, actually, I just forgot, it came to me. There was a shark known to us. It's a reality TV show called Shark Tank, if you're unfamiliar. And she wrote a big check. I think it was like 300-400 grand. I'll try and put that picture up. She got an email from someone pretending to be one of her employees, and the email just said, "Send me $400,000." She said, "Okay, check. Here you go." And I mean, the person on the other end of that email had to have known a lot within a quick period of time, but they couldn't have expected it to go that well. For you to send one email, from that one email, she is older. So I'm not saying it has anything to do with it, because she's a very powerful woman. She's very competent, but maybe your age has something to do with it. Maybe you don't know how emails work, that anybody can send them, that you can create an email address like that and it can have any information and look as official as you want it to on there. But yeah, they got her. They got her for a few $100,000, which was probably a drop in the bucket to her. She's probably not sweating it, but you can't get that stuff back. If someone phishes you, someone sends you an email perpetrating someone else, you can't get the money that you send to them back. It's very, very difficult. And if you do catch them, it's spent. Yeah, you can go to a judge and have them pay you damages or whatever, try to have a judgment in your favor to get your money back. But you won't. That person might go to jail for a few months. They get out. They'll not work in order to not pay you back. So keep that in mind. Don't send any electronic money. Even though now it's Cash App. People fish on Cash App repeatedly. People fish through Venmo. All of these electronic payment, because the money goes so fast, it's in a much smaller denomination than on a scale of, a few $100,000 or a few $1,000s, because most people use Cash App, use it in the hundreds of dollars, or Venmo or Zelle. Do it for a few $100s. But if you don't know that person if you don't trust them, if you're going to send money to someone, or if you're going to let someone do your taxes, make sure you keep track of all that information. And it's super fast, so you can keep track daily. I'd say do daily checkups of where your money is. Use the Track My tax return app. If you need that information, I can list that below, but also it'll be in my previous video. And you want to keep track of anyone trying to fish you out. I think I got scammed once in my lifetime. Well, once at a major scale. I was in college. I wanted a TV so bad, a flat screen. It was when plasmas came out. Plasmas only lasted for like 3 months, and then they just went out of style. But I wanted one, and I found one on Craigslist. I did my due diligence. The guy emailed me back. As soon as he emailed me, I knew something was up, because he said, yeah, man, the TV is in my shipping facility. All you got to do is Western Union me $400, and we're going to send you a 42-inch flat screen. Me being a smart college kid, I said, no, I'll send you half now, half after I get the TV. Of course, he said, great, let's do that. Sent him $235. He said, well, there's a problem in the shipping facility. There's a delay. They are holding it up. If you can send me the rest of the money, then actually release it. I said that too. But once I researched the person's name who was doing it, he had done it to a bunch of people, and I was able to cancel the Western Union transaction and get part of my money back. Money was a lot slower back then, so it kind of was halfway already in the delivery process, so they only gave me back a little bit of it, but still he didn't get it, so I felt better. A lot of the tax scams, I can't say that I've had a part of being victim to yet. I mean, I've only been filing for about 5 or 6 years, and ever since I've been filing, I've never been able to file offline. The e-file option has always been available to me ever since I've been working. I've always exercised that option and gotten a faster tax return. So I suggest to you, people watching, file your taxes electronically. Go with a trusted tax preparation person. If you're filing a simple tax return with only earned income and simple deductions, you can do it on your own, save a ton of money. I'm going to put a link in the description below with what the IRS has called an Internet Crime Complaint Center. And that's basically where you would go to report any tax fraud, anything that you might believe to be suspicious, any just bad tax preparation people. You go to this site, you email them, you submit the information, and then they'll investigate it for you. Outside of that, you can't go hunt anybody down and threaten bodily harm for your taxes. I know it's your money, you take it seriously. I take that seriously too. But be safe out there, everyone. Please feel free to like, as I said earlier, subscribe, as I said earlier, watch my videos, as I said earlier, in duration, and have a blessed day.